In today's session, we're going to continue on the series on achieving breakthrough improvement for your organization. And this session is going to be talking about identifying the capacity constraint resource within the system. And so at this point of all the actions that you've taken, you should be achieving stability. And once we achieve stability, we should be able to find the capacity constraint resource. And when we look at flow within an organization, there's only 3 flows in an organization. So our first flow is our information flow, which flows from our customers through our organization to our suppliers. Then we have our value-added flow, which flows from our suppliers through our organizations to our customers, and then the almighty cash flow. And so the primary responsibility of operations is to achieve flow. And we're looking at improving flow, we're looking at improving the operations in terms of improving information flow and value-added flow, which is going to in turn improve our cash flow. So within this flow, either in the information flow or the value-added flow, regardless if the constraints internal to the company or external to the company, there's still going to be a resource with the least amount of capacity in the system. So that's going to be our flow dictator, which is important to understand because that resource is the one that dictates the flow of the entire system. So to demonstrate that, I'm going to talk about the chain analogy. So the chain analogy, a physical chain acts like an organization because we have each link represents a department within the organization. Each link has capacity. Each link has a dependency. So this first link has a dependency with the second link. So the second link is dependent on the first link and so forth. So each function has a dependency and each function has capacity. If we look at measuring the chain, there's 2 ways we can measure the chain. So the first way is to measure its weight. So weight acts like cost in a company. So I know the weight of each link. The way I determine the weight of the chain is to add them up. So the weight acts like cost, follows the additive rule within the organization. But the other way to measure the chain is by its capacity. And so if I look at this chain, there's only one weakest link, and it's this one link that has the least amount of capacity in the system. So that's our capacity constraint resource. That's the resource that dictates the flow of the entire system. So it's very important to find this resource and make sure we maximize the effectiveness of this resource. So when we say effectiveness, it's doing the right things. So working on the right orders in the right sequence based on our customer demand when we need to deliver to the customer. So effectiveness of this resource is extremely important in improving the productivity of the entire system. So at this point in our flow, if we're stable, it's going to be very easy to identify where this resource is. Then once we identify that, trying to maximize the effectiveness of this resource. And then the next session, we're going to talk about the 5 focusing steps, how to get more out of the system with the resources you have and improving productivity of the entire system without adding additional expense. So that's our session for today. Thanks for joining.